2, 3. We are live with our second ever episode of Closest to the Win. It's an exciting week. Boys, how you doing? I got Guru. We just call him Nikolai. I just call him Guru now. And then, of course, we got Justin as well, our degenerate. And how you doing, Guru?
Doing pretty good. Wish DJ was still in the field, but other than that, can't complain.
I hear you. Justin, you doing all right?
Yes, sir. Doing good. Yeah, kind of had to reverse course after DJ leaves the field. Kind of changes the whole look of the tournament.
And you know what? We still have another day. Who knows what kind of news might happen tomorrow? And so, the Dustin Johnson thing, I didn't even know about it until I got a text from Nikolai here. And he's changing the whole spreadsheet. And I'm like, he's had to earn that 6-figure salary tonight. So,
Definitely.
I mean, that's how we roll here at the Closest to the Win as part of the Hammercast Network. Anyway, hey guys, let's real quick. Let's go into the recap of last week. We don't want to dwell a ton on it. I will be happy to say that it was really cool getting our second outright out of the last 3 tournaments. At least I did. And then I had Hovland, I think, the tournament in between, and he finished as a runner-up. But why don't you give us a little recap there, Nick?
I'd like to say I wish the model did a little better, but 10 of the top 21 we had finished inside the top 21, which was pretty cool. Brooks, we had 12th. He finished first, so congrats again on the outright. Xander, we pegged third, so he finished tied for second, so that was pretty good. Model seemed to do pretty well with catching everybody in that 10 to 20 range, which is nice. It shows up good on paper, but it doesn't really get you to the elite green screen that you need. If I had it to do over again, I don't know really what I would have done differently. I might have just called it a fluke because I think JT and Rom underperformed a little bit. Had they done better, I think that might have made it look a little better at the top end. But, Tringali got 17th, which was pretty cool, and Connors finished in the middle.
We picked Tringali right at 15, and he landed at 17.
And then Connors at 14, and he hit 17, so that was pretty good. They finished about, where they should have. It would have been nice if they were a little better, but other than that, not too bad. It's just a shame that the field wasn't stronger, and but maybe next year.
Yeah, it was still a great tournament. On the Justin Thomas thing, it was disheartening a little bit. He just learned that his grandfather died, and had to play that round, and so that was tough.
I didn't hear about that until after the fact, so I'll give him a little bit of a pass for Sunday for sure to go out and shoot that. And I know he's pretty close to him too. That's
they were golfing buddies. And so that would be tough, but where else would you rather be? Just focus all your energy on one thing. And so, anyhow, well, hey man, we got Pebble Beach. Only 2 courses. It's no longer the Pro-Am. The amateurs aren't going to be there, and they're going to be playing at, of course, where you are right now, Nick, right there at Spyglass Hill. How you doing on the 4th hole? How you doing?
It's a great place. You're going to shoot low. You're going to love it. Come out and visit. It's a good time. I'll buy the first round.
Anyway, talk a little bit about these courses.
So
and how they play into our model.
So you're going to get Pebble for 3 rounds, assuming you make the cut. So DJ had pretty good course history here, and he's one of those, bomb and gouge kind of guys. He's just going to go out and grip it, rip it, and just dare the course to beat him, and that's where he was successful. But most everybody else is going to take a little bit off. They're going to be pretty accurate. They're going to try to, get those really teeny tiny greens as best they can, and score on the easy holes. And if you get yourself in trouble, you want to be a pretty good scrambler. You want to be able to get yourself out of the sand, and just don't really let the course take advantage of it. Just sneak away with a really disappointing par, or just thankful that you just get a bogey. And that's kind of how you'll sneak around Pebble. Hopefully you can go a little lower on, Spyglass. I know it's supposed to be cold. I know it's supposed to be windy, kind of off and on through the 4 days. I think Saturday is going to be better than Sunday, and I think Friday is better than Thursday, if I remember right. But, there'll be opportunities to go low. But, people still shoot pretty low when they go here. I think it's at that 17 under par rough range for the 3 courses. So even if it's a little tougher, you're still going to have to probably shoot 14 or 15 to win.
Right, and one of the things you touched on briefly, those tiny greens, some of the smallest greens on tour, and that really bodes well for those good iron players and in that approach. And of course, like you said, the short game, around the green, whoever can scramble, because not everybody's going to be able to hit those greens. One other thing that I always like to take a look at is your POA putters. And
Got that built in. That's going to be helpful for sure. And a lot of the picks and a lot of the upper end people are actually pretty good. So I guess we can see how it shakes out.
yeah, I'm looking forward to it. But anyway, so if the wind is blowing, let me get this right. If the wind is blowing, Spyglass, if I recall, they have a few more trees, and it doesn't affect them as much as it does on the other course. Would you take that into consideration if you're doing showdown lineups on Thursday or Friday?
Yes, I would.
Okay.
Generally, as far as that, just to make sure you get the bonuses, you want to go back 9 at Spyglass, and then you want to take the front 9 at Pebble. That's probably the preferred combination. Doesn't mean you can't score well on the reverse, but probably get yourself a little extra bonus by going that way on either course. But I'm probably going to try to stack it at Pebble anyway.
What kind of effect do you think it'll be that they're playing? Is there going to be any effect at all that they're playing without amateurs?
There's some people that I think Jason Day came out this week and there was a quote from him that referenced that he didn't mind playing with the amateurs so much. It gave him a chance to slow down and, think about everything and just kind of relax and do his thing. And so he might be somebody that, just because of his outstanding course history here, he might be somebody that, falls back a little bit into the crowd, and then you throw his club changes and swing things he's working on. I'd love to say he'd score a top 10 again. I mean, the model likes him up there, but personally, I'm not sure that he'll make it. And there's some other folks that are probably here that'll probably do better than before that were probably bothered by the slower play. So I think you might see some leaderboard flipping if you compare to folks with, good course history to bad course history.
Yeah. The real interesting guy there to talk about, and I'm sure we're going to get to him. So let's go ahead and talk about the model. Talk about a little bit about what went into the model this week. I know we just touched on the course part of it. Talk a little bit more about that, and let's just go through the top 10 if you don't mind. Because
Sure.
the top 10 has a lot of those players that people just don't typically see in the top 10. Obviously, we know that it's kind of top heavy anyway, but this is exciting. This is an exciting top 10 for us. I can't wait to see how we do.
All right, so I'm going to pop up the share screen here so you guys can see what's all behind it. And
there we go.
All right. Hey, how we doing?
We did it.
Yay. We're doing good today.
It didn't quite make it up there.
All right. So, lovely front page here. So everything's pretty color coded. So the darker gray over here, that's the top 10% as far as the model score. And we're just going to focus on the top 10 here in the rank area. Now, as far as the scores, it's kind of tiered out. So your kind of upper tier here, the 1 and 2 in the model are going to be Cantlay and Berger. They're separated by, a 0.3 of a point, which really isn't much. So you're really coming down to what's going to separate them. And Berger's got marginally better course history, depending on how you look at it. And I've kind of baked in, I call it modified, but I tried to rip off the Monterey portion of it and then really just bake in what I could grab for Pebble and then weight it against a smaller portion of Spyglass. And that's kind of how the course history came up this week. So he's got marginally better course history, and then his secondary stats were slightly better, but Cantlay has got him inched up at everything else. So there's not much of a difference there. You drop down to the next level, and you've got Kevin Strowman. And the big thing there is going to be his course history. He had the number 1 course history and the modifications that we made here, which is kind of crazy when you think about it, but we'll touch on him more. But the fact that he's third and the fact that he's 8,900, but we've been riding him for a couple of weeks when he was in the 7,000s. And I think he was in the 6s last week. So that's kind of a steep jump, and that's a kind of a tough pill for a lot of people to swallow.
But if he checks out, he checks out. And so,
right.
We're trying to win money here. We're not trying to,
We're not here to make any friends or make enemies or whatever. We're just here to win. The next group, you've got Siwoo, you've got Trincali, and you've got Casey. Lots of interesting things on really all three, but I would say Casey's probably got more upside that doesn't show because this isn't going to pull in the enough of the Euro stats, and he's been doing pretty well over there. I think Siwoo's riding a little higher from his win a couple of weeks ago, and some of his things are inflated, and so I think he might be on a little bit of a downswing. And Tringale's probably the most properly placed of the three, but considering his course history here and how we've got it baked in, and then even when you just look at the normal one, he did okay here. He didn't do great. I'm just not sure how much of a upswing for number 4, he needs to finish top 10. 20, 30, 40, that's not going to do anybody any good. So we'll see how it shakes out. And then underneath, you've got Zalatoris, you've got Jason Day, you've got Harmon, and you've got Doug Gim. They're all really interesting to me because they all have something different that bring them to the table. Day's got the elite course history. Zalatoris has got pretty elite form, and his stats are actually pretty spot on right now. Doug Gim's got stats that are in the neighborhood of Zalatoris, but they're not quite as good. And Harmon, we've been riding him off and on for the last couple of weeks too. He's got nothing that's really just, oh my God, you have to play him. But compared to the field, he's in that upper echelon again. So he checks off a lot of the boxes.
And he's at a better price point. So, but right there, Doug Gim, that number 10 at 7,500, that's got to be appealing. And I'll share a little later on a lineup I made that has a majority of this top 10 in it. So we were able to get it done.
Nice.
I do want to bring up one thing on Paul Casey.
Sure.
He's been playing well, but as I look a little deeper, he's not so good on POA. And his putting is as a matter of fact, he's been losing strokes every round on putting on POA. Did you see any of that? I know all the other things have him way up there, but
I did see a little bit. He's got one good year of course history here. He's got some stuff that's not really great. I mean, he's got based on how he's done at the other courses, he should check out. I mean, the odds are pretty good too.
I'm fading him.
Yeah, no, I get it. I'm probably going to bet him outright just because I'm not going to play him in DFS. But yeah, I don't blame you. We'll get to the picks in a second, I guess.
Yeah, we'll do that, and then and of course I'll bring up the guy that I really, really, really like. So as it comes to DFS, let's start with Justin. Justin, are you got anybody in that top range that you're looking at?
In the top range, I think Gim is a great value just for a lot of the things that y'all already went over. I think for DFS, having him at 75, you can fit him into a lot of lineups. Especially like you said, you were able to do your lineup with a lot of guys in the top 10. I think when you've got this much of a mix up at the top of the leaderboard, you got a lot of options using the model. But I like Gim. I've been on Berger for a couple weeks, especially with DJ out now. I think I'll have Berger. Berger will be in my lineup, and I'll be betting on him. Probably is my main outright. So from the few top, I like Gim and Berger as my guys.
Hey, we got our boy Jordan Raines, one of the best IDP minds in fantasy football. Thanks for the nice comment there, Jordan. We appreciate you, man. Hey, and we'll be talking to you soon. I'm really going to talk a little bit about Zalatoris. Zalatoris is the guy that I really, really like this week. I think he's ready to get a big win, and in this field with what's happened with the withdrawals. I don't know if anybody in this field is as good as he is right now when it comes to approach. He's amazing with his irons. He's right up there with Morikawa when it comes to iron play, and I just really believe that, and I think he's got the appeal to me. As a matter of fact, I'm betting him outright. I'm also putting him in my DFS lineups. I'm going to be overweight on Zalatoris, and I got a little surprise wager I'm going to talk about at the end of the show when we get to the betting segment. Some things that I've pulled off here that who knows. It's been working, but we'll get into that in a few.
Guess it's my turn for the top, huh? I hate to be.
Let's just go through some of the more interesting picks that you have on DFS. I'm not gonna do like some of these other shows. So let's just go through all the guys we like at 10, and all the guys we like at 9 and 8 and 7. Let's just go through and highlight the guys we really like, and I'll do the same thing, and I'll go through my lineup.
Fine.
And then also, by the way, a good friend of the show, Detroit Dave. Are we terrified of Spieth? Let's just jump right into Spieth right away.
Yeah, I am. Yeah, extremely terrified of Spieth.
So I kind of work backwards from the 9s. So I usually divvy up everything kind of like 10 and 11. I look at the 9s, and then with DJ out, you're stuck between Cantley, Berger, and Casey. And I'm going to be on Berger if I have to pick one of those three. Biggest difference for me there is going to be he's a better putter on POA, and he's got pretty good history here, so I'm okay with that one. So then I start looking at the 9s, and it's more who I don't like, and I start ripping through names I don't like for various reasons. And really, at the end, it comes down to a combination of I'm choosing between Zalatoris, I'm choosing between Jason Day, and I'm choosing between Jordan Spieth. And I really want to just say Day is going to come out here and pop it, but I just have some doubts.
I'm scared.
Yeah, no, I mean, he could withdraw. He could go to Disney World. He could hurt his back. He could just have an off day. I mean, I don't know. Variety of things could happen. So he's probably my number 3 there.
Yeah, I agree with that. Jason Day is a wild card of all wild cards. And he's got the history to your point. But, man, I'm terrified of anything. Like you said, anything could happen. He could get gout during the round. And it wouldn't surprise me. But go ahead and let's dive into Jordan Spieth. Obviously what Jordan did last week was impressive considering where he's been in the last few years. As a matter of fact, gosh, that's the first time he's finished that high in over 2.5 years. And so it's pretty impressive performance. Do you think it's for real? What are we doing with Spieth?
If you play enough lineups, he's probably worth playing. But if you're going to do something probably less than 20, I'm probably taking a pass. And I'm going to take a step away, but I'm going to come back. So I kind of feel like you have 3 paths here. You can, jump on Cantlay and you can figure out how to bounce it off from there. If you decide not to take Cantlay, then you maybe do some combination of Berger and Zalatoris, Jason Day, Spieth, whoever you want to do, and kind of fill it in from there. Or you just kind of balance everybody. I'm kind of in the middle. And I hate to say he needs to do it again for me, but the greens he's got good course history here. Absolutely.
Yeah, he does.
I think he could do it again. But to do it on a course last week where, the greens are pretty flat, it's some crazy hybrid thing with stuff not totally grown in. If he can do it here, then maybe I'm convinced he's back. I for that kind of price, I mean, that's a big jump. I mean, yeah, sure. Compared to the field, he's probably earned it, and he checks out. But come out and score 110, 120 DraftKings points, and I'll find a Spieth shirt over the weekend, and I'll wear it on next week's show. And I'm just not there. But I can't fault you for playing it because I think it's a legitimate pick. But I'm going a different way.
Would that be great if golfers wore jerseys and they had their names on the back of them? They all got these really nice sponsorships and all that, but that would be hilarious. Yeah, I got to buy a Spieth shirt. That would be awesome. I do agree, though. He's had a lot of success at Pebble. Until I see him show me what he showed me before on Sunday, and even this weekend, I had Spieth, and I thought to myself the whole time Sunday before the round even started, I said he's going to bogey the first hole, and it's going to take him off his game. Now, to my discredit, he did bogey the first hole, but he actually got it back together. He didn't play a terrible round. We've seen him really melt down on Sundays, and the mere fact that he was able to gut it out, even though he still fell short. It's an interesting watch. I'm with you, Nick. I'm probably going to have him in a few DFS lineups. I'm not going to bet him, and so I'm going to have him in there, but I'm not betting on him. And Detroit Dave says the fairways are more of the issue for him. Rolling the rock isn't my concern. He has a two-way miss, and that's true. I mean, he's brilliant around the greens, and the fairways are the issue for him. If he hits that driver like he did last week, yeah, he'll be all right. He'll be up there. Justin, you're scared of him?
Yeah, I can't. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think Saturday was vintage Jordan, but I mean, Sunday was reality check Sunday.
Well,
Right?
I mean, you saw all those 15-plus foot putts, and I'm like,
Yeah.
there's nobody can sustain dropping all of those putts and the chip in.
No,
And
I
so it was amazing. You know what? It was beautiful to watch. I enjoyed it. I loved it. And
and
so,
see, his price is back. His price is going back down. I'll wait. I'll let it get back up again before I play him again. I think I just don't. I can't get myself to do it with all the other options. I like a lot of the other options better.
yeah, but think about this, Dave. Think about this, Detroit Dave. If Spieth comes out, let's just say he comes out and finishes in the top 5 again, and or heaven forbid, say he wins the damn thing. Can you imagine the hype going to Augusta this year? It's going to be insane with DJ and Brooks, and because Brooks coming back and getting in. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be crazy betting. It's to me that's like betting the Super Bowl. I bet more on the Masters than I do the Super Bowl. But anyway,
we'll have plenty of storylines. That's for sure.
All right, let's keep going on DFS. What are some of the? I'm going to bring up a few names and you just talk about them.
Sure.
Molinari. A lot of people are hype on Molinari. He's actually, he's had back-to-back top 10s, which is surprising because where his game was a year and a half ago, was just almost like he didn't even deserve to be out there. What are your numbers telling you about Francisco? I mean, obviously, where do we have him in the model here?
59.
Yeah, our good friend is a little down there.
I mean, think about that. There's a lot of people that are really. I mean, he's been back-to-back top 10s. Our model doesn't like him.
Model might be getting its butt kicked on Monday, but for right now, yeah.
But it is what it is, right?
Right. I mean, the big thing is, he played here, had pretty good success when in the U.S. Open, but as far as the tourney, he doesn't have anything established in the tourney, and so it's taken that into consideration. His short-term form is better because he's definitely on an upswing for sure, but it's still got the long-term baked in. And those two things are kind of pulling him down a little bit. He still checks out otherwise.
Yeah. It is a bold take considering how far we have him down there. What about where are you at on Sam Burns this week? What's your thoughts on Sam Burns?
I really want to keep playing him. I really do, but the last couple of weeks have just kind of soured me on him. I mean, he's still up there at the top, but
yeah, we got him 12th.
Yeah, and that's kind of about where he's been. But that big scary number there is that 21 in that course history category. Compared to everything else, the other ones, you've got your 1s and your 6s and your 8s, and even some of those others in the 10 or the 15. That 21, he's up there, and that's worse than everybody else. So if he comes out and really just has a grand old time, he's probably going to do the 12th and better. But, if the course kicks his ass, so to speak, he'll be lucky to finish probably top 40. He'll have a good round, I'm sure, but
yeah.
And that's been the trouble with everybody else lately. They've had the one good round, but then they've had 2 or 3 that just have been off, and they haven't been able to sustain anything. And so they get up and fall back, or they try to dig themselves out of the hole from the first round, and they just can't do it.
Well, I do know in his last 10 rounds, he's had 4 really good ones, 3 decent ones, and then 3 horrible ones. And so the volatility, the inconsistency scares me a little bit on Burns. And for that reason, I'm out. I'm fading him. Even though, he's still, like I said, he's top 12, but he's also priced up there in the 9,000s now, and so at $9,100, he's not as appealing to me.
I'll take Strowman all day at 8,900.
And let's talk about Strowman. A 2, a 7, a 6, a 14, and a 17 at this tournament for the last 5 years. Never worse than 17th in 5 straight years. He's hitting on all cylinders right now, and in our model, he's right there at number 3. Yeah, how cool is that? Talk about him a little bit.
That's a big boy spot right there. We've been riding for a couple of weeks, so it's definitely put up or shut up time. If Cantlay fades into the top 20 and Berger just can't get the putter rolling, somebody's got to get up there.
And he's a good POA putter.
Yeah, I think I've got it. He's about a third of a stroke better on POA than his baseline. So there should be some positive things going on there. And what I've got down for him as far as the 2021 stats, it's 14th in greens and regulation, which is pretty good. Is 19th in approaches from 50 to 125. So if he can get it close, he's got those short shots dialed in. With the good course history here, hopefully he knows where to put it. He can leave himself short. He can get it close to the small greens, and being the fact that's on POA, hopefully he can roll in more of them than not, and keep going under par. He may not be your first round leader, but if he keeps chipping away 3-4 under par each round, he'll be there at the end.
Getting a lot of buzz on Molinari. The thing about him is he's had 4 top 15s at this course, and he's really, really good around the greens. What's your take on Molinari? I know you were talking him up a little bit during our weekly texts.
He's one of my 7K guys. I actually he's got a couple of different things going for him. So, as far as the last 24 rounds, so he's number 1 in birdies of better gains, number 1 strokes gained putting, and number 1 strokes gained short game. So he's got the short game dialed in for sure. He's about 3/4 of a stroke better on POA. I'm sorry, he's 3/4 of a stroke. Yeah, he's gaining 3/4 of a stroke on POA, which is pretty top notch. Top 10% of the field, so he's got the putter working. He got an 11th last year, which is pretty good. And then the stats that stuck out to me for 2021, he's already got a low round of 62. So and that's upper echelon compared to the entire tour. So that's pretty good there. He's 39th in putting inside 10 feet. So with these small greens, it's tough to get it close, and even getting it close, it's still kind of a tough putt. So he's upper echelon on the tour in terms of the close putts, which is great. 19th in scoring average, 34th in approach over the whole season so far. So that's a pretty good number. And then he's 4th in putting. Man. So he can score. He's got the putter working. He likes POA, and top 10% of the field in terms of DraftKings points and things like that. So when compared to everybody else, he ought to be right up there at the end. And he's one of the few people that really could go out and light it up.
Now, where do we have him again? Where do
15.
we have him on? 15. Mm-hmm. It's pretty damn good for a 7K player, and so I'm excited about him. And he is in my my DFS lineup.
Nice.
My one lineup for now. Obviously, I'm going to have a whole lot more action tomorrow night, and we'll do an update on Twitter for that. A couple other names for you, and
sure.
Polarizing guy, Slick Rick Fowler. What are you thinking? What's going on with Fowler, man? I think he's going to go. I don't know, man. I think he's always been a little overrated. But what's your thoughts?
So we've got him at 30. Might be high, might be low. Yeah, I mean, he probably should. He may not make it by much, but the big detractor for me is he's about a stroke worse on POA than everything else. So he's a better putter everywhere else. He just sucks on POA. So
as good as a putter that he's traditionally been, this is not the tournament for him based on the terrain.
That's my take. 30's doing him probably justice based on all the other stats and stuff that are baked in. I mean, he checks out, he should do well here. I think the big thing is really just the POA. But He didn't really impress me all that much, last week either, so we'll see. Yeah,
Jeff Feinberg keeps riding that train. He's playing him again he's betting him again this week, and he bet him last week, and it's funny. I just he said he did it again this week, so I responded to him 10 cup. Doesn't know when to stop. But anyway, but Jeff wins way more than most. So when he starts talking about it, I'm like, oh my god, maybe I got to throw a couple dollars on him. I don't know, but he's not going to be in any of my lineups, and he's not going to be on any of my tickets either. But 2 more players I want to talk about. Naismith. I'm really liking Naismith this week, and I just think that his strokes gained on approach is really, really good. He's a great irons player, and he's got a good history here. What do you got on him?
He's 3/4 of a stroke worse on POA.
Is he really?
Yeah. So as great as he looked last week, putting the ball and having that pretty awesome set of rounds, he's got the good history. But if the putter's not working, I think he'll crash and burn pretty quick. And eight's
I
a
don't like
pretty
to hear that.
eight's a pretty good number. So I mean, you've got Molinari right underneath because Naismith's 14, the model. Molinari's 15th. If Molinari's going to putt better for $200 less, that's probably the direction I'm going.
Right, but it is surprising to see Naismith up there at $8,000, up there at 15th or 14th, and so
When you look at the rest of the field, though, I mean, he checks out in a lot of categories, and he's top 10% of the field with the course history I baked in, top 20% with the comps. He's just outside the top 20 as far as the odds go. He's a little off as far as the form and the strokes gained, and he's top 20% with the secondary stuff. So, I mean, he checks enough of the boxes to be up there. But again, it's kind of like, remember, he's got one or two things that are pretty good, and one, his bad is not really terrible. It's just slightly off, and that's just going to keep him up there. He doesn't have that big, nasty negative category there. So, and remember too, the field just sucks.
all right. I got one more to talk about before we go into some of our betting, and I'm going to talk about my lineup, and then we'll go into some betting.
Sure.
I always like to look at our highest ranked 6K guy, and I'll be honest with you guys, the 6K group is just dreadful this week. I just don't like any of them. But there's one guy that nobody's talked about, and that is Josh Teeter. You have him as our number one 6K guy at $6,600, right there at the top in the top 40. Talk about that a little bit.
And he's 6,600. He's not even 69, 68,
right,
67.
Yeah, he's a mid sixes.
He's kind of an interesting breed, if you will. So he's as far as the course history goes, I told you I'd split it out. So he came up 30th as far as the Pebble Beach history goes, and that's pretty good when you're talking about a 6,600 guy to have that kind of history.
Top 30, yeah, I'm liking it.
As far as the comps go, so he was top 50. Again, he's not going to, he probably won't win, but, based on where he's gone everywhere else, he should do pretty well here. Form, he's kind of middle of the road. Nothing exciting, but, in a 156 guys, if you're in that 80th range, middle of the road isn't, really terrible. Now, I kind of did I kind of changed the tee to green a little bit. I weighted the approach a little bit more and bumped up the around the green, and I kind of dialed back the off the tee. So as far as the modified tee to green, he was top 40 there. But the interesting one that's going to give him some credit is going to be the secondary stats I got for 2021. Over the last 36 rounds, he came up 24th.
Wow.
I can, with respect, course history here and some kind of current mojo working, if everything clicks right, I mean, top 40 or better seems pretty possible, and with the history here of longer shots going, especially the last 5 years, and up the leaderboard and stuff like that, I mean, you could do a whole lot worse.
Yeah, well, I'm going to talk about him a little bit. I've actually got him in my DFS lineup this week, and so and now he's in one of my lineups, obviously, because I wanted that one value guy because I want to stack my top 5. And if you can go to the 1 through 10
Sure.
on the spreadsheet there, I'll go ahead and go through my first lineup.
Okay.
Starts with from the top 5. If you look there, you got Strowman.
Nice. Number 3.
I got Tringali.
Number 4.
Zalatoris.
Number 7.
Harmon.
Number 9. Wow, 4 in the top 10. I like it.
Tringali. Molinari.
15. Okay.
And then Teeter, the guy you just talked about. I just need Teeter to make the cut, and then the rest of my 5 guys are top 15 or better, and I still have $100 left. And so that's a lineup I'm pretty excited about because I don't need a whole lot from Teeter. So anyway, that's kind of where I'm at on that lineup. What do you think of that?
I think it's pretty good if you could jam all that in there.
Oh, it's in.
And 40th, if the projections are right, that's smidge over 70 points. So there's your 10 times value right there. So, and even if the course plays tougher and he comes up closer to 9, everybody else will get dialed back too. So yeah, I think it's pretty good.
Yeah. So that's kind of where I'm at right now on that lineup, and I'm obviously I'm probably gonna do another 20 or 30 lineups in different various tournaments. And I'll be transparent as I could possibly be. I'm not a heavy hitter. I play a whole lot of stuff, and so I can't. My units are probably smaller than a lot of people's units, but as far as how much I'm betting per bet, but I definitely have a little bit of action going on there. But anyhow, you got a DFS lineup, Justin?
Yeah, I have. Let me get my one that I sent you guys earlier. Yeah, I went from the top 10. Obviously, I rolled with Berger. Then just pulling that up here. So yeah, I got Berger from the top 10. I got Gim at number 10. The guy that I was going to talk about a little bit later, Adam Long, who's coming in number 19 at 7,300. Love him this week. 125 to 1 to win. So I'll be playing him. I'll have him in my lineup. And then Strowman, Trangali, and Kyle Stanley at 7,400, who I think is kind of a sneaky good play this week as well. And that's who I'll be rolling with.
Nice. Now, when you play, Justin, are you playing mostly cash games, or are you playing tournaments, or a combination?
I do mostly the tournaments. I'll do a couple cash games, but mainly I'll enter the single entry tournaments. A handful of them, along with my bets. And I'm kind of the same way as far as you were saying. My unit bet size, isn't going to be, like a lot of these big guys, but I'll always, I bet a good amount for me, and play a lot of different options.
Guru, fades. What do we got for fades?
Basically, it's the putters. Probably the most noteworthy one that I probably don't want any part of. A lot of these people in the 9K range, honestly. I won't go Cam Davis. I'm not.
I heard a lot of people talking about Cam Davis. You don't like him, huh? The putting's that bad?
It's not that bad. It's just slightly off, and I prefer other people. It's one of those, if I do 500 lineups, sure, I can afford everybody. But, you find a couple of plays you really like. Right. And, for $100 more, I'm going to take Strowman. I think I read a stat that said the last 14 years, I think the winner has had at least a top 20 here on the course somewhere. So I think course history, plays a little bit of a part, and probably more of a part than people realize. And I've got the model baked in to kind of reflect that as far as the top 20s and whatnot as course history goes. So those are a couple, right off the top, it's right there. And then, I know Matt Jones is getting some play too, but he's a little bit of that's kind of a 50-50 right there. You got the Australian thing, and, the idea that they're going to play better in the tougher weather and the wind and all that kind of stuff. And he's got pretty good, course history here, but he's actually a worse putter on POA. So, if things aren't really clicking all the way around, it could go south fast. But again, if he's on this little bit of an upswing, and probably the last, 6 to 10 tourneys, I suppose he is, then, he'll probably defy the putter and continue to go with the course history probably. But I don't think I trust him.
As far as fades, I'm fading Casey. I'm fading Casey just because of the POA greens. He's probably going to go out and win the thing because I'm fading him. But I'm also fading. I'm fading Jordan Spieth. I got excited about him. I want to see him win a tournament, or I want to see him, finish second in a tournament and close it out until before I'm ready to really go all in on him. His price just got too high for me. He's up there in the close to that 10K range. He hasn't played. He's played one tournament worthy of a 9K player.
Yeah.
Okay, that's my point. When you're getting close to 10K and you've had one, actually, if you really think about it, Saturday's round was his best round in 2 years. Okay, now he's almost a 10K player. I'm going to go ahead and fade that guy. And so he might be in a couple small lineups, but there's no way I'm going to put money on DraftKings betting at all. Any other fades? Justin, you fade anybody?
Like you said, I won't be playing Spieth for sure. Like I said, Jason Day, I see he's up high. I know he's got the great course history. I don't trust him.
I don't either.
There's so much going on with him, kind of like Nick referred to earlier. So I'll be staying away from him as well. But yeah, him, Spieth, and Cantlay. Like I said, Berger.
Let's just talk about Cantlay. Obviously, he's chalk, right? He's the favorite now that DJ's gone. We didn't even talk about Cantlay. Is he a guy that could literally go out and railroad everybody?
He could. He could.
He could. I don't know. I mean, at that price, considering the field, I mean, let's just talk in terms of DraftKings. So, I mean, you've still got 38,000 to 38,000 and change to chip over 5 guys. You could probably squeeze in another 8 or 9K guy if you really want to, but after that, you're getting into that high 6, low 7 range to just complete everybody, and you're kind of backing yourself into that corner of he needs to pretty much win. I mean, sure, he could finish top 5 for the value, but to really make it worth your while for everybody else, he needs to win, and that's kind of a big ask. Not to say he can't. I mean, his course history here has been decent enough, but when I split it out just for Pebble Beach, I think he was in the 50s. Now that's more than just actual placing and things like that. That's looking at what strokes I could get and DraftKings points, and placings play a little bit of a part. But if he was top 10, top 15, top 20, if he had Berger's course history here, I'd probably be more on him and more willing to pay the $1,200 difference. But that's a lot to ask for the $1,200 just to separate the two of them right there. So no,
for the price, I get that, but there's a chance that he can go out there and win this tournament. Probably a greater chance than all of them. Obviously, he's our number one guy. And so,
but if you like him, you're going to need to really capitalize on him. You're going to need to probably play 40-50%. And if there's any kind of element of doubt, I probably wouldn't. I would go the other way because you can minimize a little bit of your risk and still have some of the upside and the win value baked in with somebody else.
Right, and I'm more referring to betting, and I'm going to get to that in just a few minutes.
7.5 to 1? No, I wouldn't go near it. Not to win.
No. I'll tell you where I'm going in a minute. On that, I've got a couple of interesting bets with him involved, and I will get to that in a minute. Justin knows about him. I'm hitting some of these straight forecasts, and we'll talk about that. So overall, we talked pretty much everybody we could talk on DFS. We're going to be posting lineups on Twitter. If you're not following us, obviously, Mr. Guru Nick at Mr. Guru Nick. Justin is at JTH Hansen, JT Hansen 1985, and of course me at Hammerjacks1. By the way, if you're watching us on our YouTube channel, please feel free to give us a like or give us a nice comment. Let us know how we're doing. Let us know what you think. And by the way, actual matter of fact, if you're on YouTube watching, please give us a little comment on who you think is going to win. Comment one time on who you think is going to win the tournament, and of all the people who comment on who's going to win, whoever picks the first one to pick the right one, we're going to send a little prize to. So
nice.
Feel free to do that for us. That'll be a lot of fun. Also, if you're listening to the podcast, please feel free to subscribe, let us know how we're doing. This is our second show ever, and we're having a lot of fun with it, but we want to get better at it. And any kind of opinions or thoughts from our audience is obviously the most important opinions and thoughts, because that's who we're here for. Finally, let's get into the betting segment. This is the fun part. I'm going to turn it over to Justin. Justin, let's hear what you got before I jump into mine, and then Nick can go through his.
All right. Well, start right there with my only guy really at the top of the board is Berger. Probably wouldn't have played him outright if DJ was still there. I was scared to death. But now that he's out, I'll play Berger. Like I said, compared to Cantlay, you get almost 2-to-1 odds compared to him, and cheaper on DraftKings. So I'll have Berger outright, and like I normally do, I'll have him as a top 5. Going down, I mentioned Adam Long at 125-1, 19th in the model. Not really the course history that all the other guys that we're looking at, but I'll for his price, I won't shy away from that.
Yeah, you got a guy in the top 20 of our model, and our model's been picking outrights, long shot outrights, almost well, not too long, but yeah, every week just about. And so for a 125, yeah, that's pretty exciting.
Yeah, so I have a little something on him, and maybe a top 10, and then I'll for a real long shot for you, I'll go to the well for Vaughn Taylor at 250-1.
250-1.
Yeah,
is this for an outright?
He's 33rd in the model, and over the last 3 seasons, he's 3rd overall in strokes gained putting. All 3 of his career wins are on POA, including here at this tournament 6 years ago. So I don't know a lot. If you're gonna go way down the board on a guy, that's there's a lot worse guys you can come across than him.
Now, did you say he's 250?
250. That's what I'm seeing.
Yeah. I might jump in that game right there at 250.
Yeah. I like them at top 20. I'll probably do some top 20, top 10 on him too, just for mix it up a little.
I love it.
Looking at that, so I'll have Berger, Long, Taylor, and I think I'll end up doing something with Strowman. I haven't decided what it'll be. Maybe a little outright in the top 10 as well. I think he's going to be in the mix, and that's where I want to be on Sundays, be in the mix and have a sweat.
Right. Super Bowl Sunday was a fun sweat. That was crazy. When Brooks chipped that in on 18 and just dropped the mic, and no, on 17, wasn't it? It was on 17 or 18 he chipped in for the Eagle.
17, I think.
17.
Any part 18.
Yeah.
That was like, I was like, oh my God. Detroit Dave's on it. I was like, oh my God. Hang on.
Yeah.
That was so much fun.
No, that's the best way for it to happen for you right there. Make it run on Sunday and catch you up and win when the odds are great. That's why you do it.
Yep. Nick, what you betting on, man?
A lot of the same stuff you guys, but I'm going to throw one out there that nobody's mentioned yet. So,
breaking news.
I know, breaking news. Here we go.
Guru.
I'm diving into some Jim Furyk.
Okay.
What?
Yeah.
Furyk.
Jim Furyk? Yeah, 125-1. So I'm going to play him. I'm going to play him in DraftKings too, but I'll drop the outright on him too. So first in greens and reg for the year.
This is big news. Go ahead.
Second in sand saves, first in scrambling, first in bounce back. He doesn't really screw up much, but when he does screw up, he quickly gets his proverbial head out of his ass. And when you look at the rest of the he's averaging 83 DraftKings points. So, he's top 10% in terms of the field. So, if you take, once DJ's gone, everybody else, you've got a couple people in the 80s, 90s, and he's right up there because it just shows how awkward the field is. And so he checks out. He's got 2 top 15s in his last 4 trips there. And then when you bake in the Pebble Beach, or split it out, however you want to look at it, he's 23rd. So, he's got decent overall history here. The stats check out, the points check out. He's better on POA. He's a positive putter on POA. He's 53rd and the approach. So and
he's only $7,400 on DraftKings.
Yeah, I'm going to take a flyer. That's probably the longest price I've got, but it's probably one that I don't think I'm not sure how accurate that 7% is, but when I ran the different stuff for the ownership, that's about kind of where I had him. I think he'll come in under once things shake out tonight, tomorrow. But yeah, it's probably one of my favorite ones, that I've had in a while.
I like that one too.
Well, you sandbagged me on that one. I had no idea you were even thinking about that guy. But you know what? Everything you're saying makes so much sense. And
I didn't either until I started looking, and the more I looked, the more I liked.
Well, I'm going to pull it up real quick here. Here we go. Jim Furyk on DraftKings. If you're betting,
I think he's 125 or close to.
125.
Yeah.
125. 125.
I had Adam Long too, by the way, but I wasn't going to steal your thunder since you went first, Justin. But yeah,
Oh.
I figure we can share, and you take one, I'll take Furyk, and there we go.
Wow.
Yeah, that's good. If you like him, then I like him even more. So that's good to hear.
And then
Wow.
I'll throw one other kind of combination out there. It's really more geared towards DraftKings more so than the betting, but I'm going to dive into the. I know, I swear I haven't been drinking, but
I have.
well, have one for me after you hear this. I'm going to dive into and I'm going to put them together because I kind of put them about the same. I'm diving into Jimmy Walker and JB Holmes.
Hold on, wait. I had this. I've been saving this, and I didn't even know it was coming. I got a shot ready to go.
Go for it.
Catch fire cinnamon shot just for you, brother. Because you mentioned JB Holmes and Jimmy Walker. Hold on.
Yeah. One for JB,
All
one
right,
for Jimmy.
I got it here.
Yeah, so JB's 79th in the model. This is more of me going out on a limb, and then Jimmy Walker's buck 13. That's slumming it down and dirty for sure. But the couple things I noted out here. So Jimmy's got 7 top 20s in the last 10 years.
Okay, that's pretty good.
JB's got 3 top 15s in the last 6. So they're both positive putters on POA. Jimmy's the top 10% in the field on POA. And the most interesting thing in terms of it's older history, but let's just assume the course just plays like, as people are mentioning it. They're 5 and 6 in the adjusted Pebble Beach side of the course history. So with an extra round on there, you've got a whole field of unknowns. People don't really know what's going on. You've got these guys that have come out here and done it and grinded it out. If they can find some sort of old form, know where to put the ball, get it close, and have a pretty good idea of how these greens work, I'm going to give it a shot.
Well, JB Holmes is 250 to 1.
Don't know that I play him to win, but I'll take some top 20 action on both of them probably.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you could definitely do that. But those are interesting plays, especially in that top 20 range, top 30 range, because you're going to get double digits on them. And so I definitely like that. I think that's pretty clever. I'm not going to play it, but I think it's pretty clever. That's what. Is there anything better than all the options you have betting on golf?
No, it's fun. Yeah.
There's nothing better than this, guys. I'm telling you. I'm going to go through my plays, my outrights. I did an extra one. I normally do 5 outrights. I had a 6th just because it just felt good to me. And so first and foremost is Berger. I think a lot of people are feeling a little bit of heat from him from last week because a lot of people were on him and they missed the cut. He missed the cut. I like him. Unfortunately, I got him at 18 to 1 versus the 25 to 1 before DJ pulled out. And then because when DJ pulled out, you noticed that all the odds changed.
Yeah, they took him down a lot of places for a short period.
Exactly. And so Berger at 18 to 1, and of course my favorite play of the tournament, Zalatoris 18 to 1. So those are my 2 favorites. I'm also going with Tringali, 45 to 1. The form, he's top 4 in our model, and in everything that he's shown in what he's been doing and on this course history. 45 to 1, it feels like a no-brainer to me. And then also Strowman at 40 to 1. He's number 3 in our model, and so he's to me he's a play on DraftKings. He's a betting play when you get a guy at 40 to 1 with the history and the way he's playing right now. And then we're going into my 2 longer shots, Molinari, who we talked about, who is right there in the top 15 in our model, 55 to 1. I really like that number. And of course, my 75 to 1, we talked about it. You don't like him because of his putting, Neesmith. But I really like where he is in our model and the fact that he is 75 to 1, which is considerably better than what you would get with Sam Burns. So it's totally different from DraftKings DFS versus DraftKings betting. And so those are my 6 outrights. And I have a bonus. Our top 6,000 player, which was 6,600, Josh Teeter. I put a little bit on him to finish in the top 20 at 75 to 1.
Wow. That's
And
nice.
so 75 to 1, finish top 20. I'm happy with that, considering that he's right there in our model. And so that's what I really like. And then I did a couple of straight forecast bet. Now, a lot of people don't know what a straight forecast bet is. And they have it on DraftKings. I'm not sure what other books have it. But it's where it's almost like betting on horses, where you could pick an exacta. It's 1-2. And so you pick the outright and the second place finisher. And as you guys know from this broadcast, I'm really big on Will Zalatoris this week. And obviously, we all know that Cantley is the favorite. And so I doubled down. I did 2 straight forecast bets. The first one is Cantley finishing first and Zalatoris finishing second. And I'll tell you what I bet on this one because it's so outrageously crazy to do. I just bet $5 on it. Okay, $5. But if Cantley finishes first and Zalatoris finishes second, when they're both right there, $5 turns into $6.80 because it's 135 to 1. And then I reversed it. Zalatoris finishing first with Cantley finishing second. Same bet, same odds. $5, $680. It's fun. It's $10. And it throws a little twist into what I want to do and what I want to watch this weekend. So,
yeah,
what do you guys think about that crazy shit?
You basically exacta boxed them right
That's
there.
exactly what I did, but it's only 2 instead of 3.
I love it. Yeah,
It's pretty good. You'll have a good time with that.
yeah. Well, I hope it hits. That'd be awesome.
Well, those are the 2 guys that I like the most in this tournament. And I mean, when you really want to talk about chalk for me, obviously, if Berger, or Strowman, or Tringali hit, I've got all of those guys too. So I got a piece of Cantley in that perspective. So I've got a piece of Cantley, Berger, Strowman, Tringali. I left Kim out, Zalatoris, Harmon, and so Zalatoris. So anyway, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
You've got enough stuff working that hopefully one
5 of the top 7.
Sunday.
That's kind of crazy, man. But any final thoughts there, Justin?
I wanted to ask Nick. He's been giving us these great first round leaders. I wanted to know if he had any for us tonight.
Showdown action.
I will tip something out tonight on Twitter. I've got the tee times out. I just haven't uploaded them in the model. I have a couple of ideas, but I think there's a couple of ways I would go with this. But yeah, I usually do 3, so I'll do 3, and then I'll stick some more in the profile article tomorrow. I think there's pretty good value in some of the top 20, top 30, top 40. So I'll still have the article, but I'll probably have a bonus bet section in there that I'll let you guys preview tonight. In case you want to get out some of it.
And the profile of a contender article will be published tomorrow. And
I had this great original article all planned out on how I was not going to use DJ, and here were my 15 reasons why not. And then he has to go and withdraw.
He kind of ruined it.
Yeah, he did, but I'll have something good cooked up. Don't worry.
Yeah, and I'm telling you guys, if you have it, I'm telling you, if you don't read or if you don't bring in just read the article. It's the best thing it's the best thing out there. There's so many points. There's so much data, and we even put in our best lineup at the end. And it's just a fantastic article, and it's just proving out every single week. So if you don't know where it is, go to hammercast.com. It's going to be right there tomorrow afternoon, or we'll be posting it on Twitter as well. So be sure to check in for that also. Any final words from you, Nick?
No, let's just have a good tourney, and hopefully we all cash it big, and maybe you hit one of your exactas there.
Oh, we'll give that a shot. We're right at 59 minutes and 12 seconds. We're actually going to make this within the 1 hour mark. That's pretty exciting. It's our second show. I'm really enjoying this. I think the show is only going to get a lot better from here on out. And I'm so grateful you guys can make time for it on Tuesday evenings. It's kind of in between that money rush and that Wednesday deadline. And so I really like this timeline. one more time, guys, if you like what we're doing, give us a like or a subscribe, or shoot us a comment. Let us know what we're doing, what you'd like to see more of, what you'd like to hear more of, and we'll accommodate you. That's why we're doing this. So we appreciate all of you guys, and we thank you all. Thank you, Detroit Dave, for being so interactive with us. You're awesome. Lots of updates coming up on Twitter, guys. Look for us again, and we'll talk to you soon. Peace out.
Did you get all that? If not, make sure you head over to hammercast.com, subscribe, and join the Hammer Nation. Until next time, keep grinding.